Okay, so today I just want to yap, okay? There's no script, there's no research, it's just my own personal opinion based on what I've seen with my own eyes. We have a very exciting and talented up-and-coming U.S. men's national team generation, okay? And I want to dive into that. I want to talk about, based on what I've seen, which player do I think has the highest ceiling, if I believe any of them are being overhyped, the level. I'll talk about it as much as I can, and that's all I want to do today. That is literally all I want to do. I'm going to yap a lot, and I know a lot of you like these kinds of videos, so let's do it. Hello. If you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV. And today we're going to talk about U.S. men's national team prospects, okay? I'm going to talk about the main ones, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to select the top 3 and tell you which one I think has the highest ceiling in my opinion. Now, obviously, the most hyped one is Cavan Sullivan. That does not mean I think he has the highest ceiling, even though I think he has a pretty damn high ceiling. I'll address all of that throughout the video. Now, one thing I want to say before we start, this is actually quite interesting because after the 2014 World Cup, we kind of had no up-and-coming new generation, right? Until the Pulisic generation came on in 2018, 2019. And that that's actually probably the main reason why we failed to qualify for the 2018 World Cup. Now, the good thing is while we have Pulisic's generation still active, right? They're still mostly like 27, 24, 25, 28. So they're still in their prime. We have a new, young, and up-and-coming generation that can push some of these players out from our golden generation, or we used to call it our golden generation. The Pulisic generation is definitely not the golden generation. I hope it's not our golden generation. Otherwise, we kind of failed as a soccer country here, even though we're not really a soccer country, but we failed at this specific sport. But anyhow, we have a lot of data. We've seen a lot of professional minutes from a lot of these prospects, so now I can talk about a lot of them based on what I've seen. Let me know in the comment section down below which of the USMNT prospects right now has the highest ceiling and tell me why. Actually, do the top 3. Because I know if we talk about highest ceiling, most of you are going to say Cavan Sullivan. So tell me the top 3 players in order. And don't forget to drop a like in this video. Do it right now. It helps the channel quite a bit. Now, before we start the episode, a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Temu. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back very soon. And this video is brought to you by Temu. You know, people used to tell me that Temu products were bad quality, and that's not true. They're good quality, and the prices are even better. Go check it out yourself. And why don't you download the app right now and use our code KY8287. That is KKY8287. So you can get free products once you make a qualified purchase. But don't use the promo code during the checkout. The correct way to use the code is in the search bar, okay? Search bar. And then once you make the qualified purchase, you get a list of free products that you can choose. And then those items that you choose will be delivered to you with your order. And I got a bunch of products myself. So one of the products that I got was this neck fan. And I mean, I live in Florida, so I need it for obvious reasons. I also got this massage gun. I'm old, and every time I exercise, I kind of need it as well. And as you may know, I collect Pokemon cards and Pokemon boxes. So there you have it. I got this acrylic case to keep my Pokemon sealed product well protected. And look how beautiful it looks. It looks wonderful. I love it. On top of that, I got this mini projector, and it has a USB entrance and HDMI. So you can connect your phone, you can connect your video game console, find a white wall. You don't need to purchase a TV for your room. I don't have a TV in my room, and now I won't need it because I can just use this portable projector. And if you like snacking during sporting events or when you're watching a game, Temu also sells snacks. You can get a ton of these, and it's very affordable. So download the Temu app right now and use the promo code KKY8287 on the search bar. That way you'll get free products once you make a qualified purchase. Do not miss out on it. Thank you very much, Temu. Okay, so before I give you the top 3 prospects, why don't I start listing the main ones that have caught my attention, right? One of them obviously being Cavan Sullivan from the Philadelphia Union, the 16-year-old, soon-to-be 17-year-old. He's been playing as a winger and attacking midfielder. He has a lot of freedom to roam for Philly. I've seen him play through central positions, out wide. He's dynamic. He's a very aggressive player in a good way, right? He wins most of his duels as a 16, 17-year-old against grown man in MLS. It's quite remarkable. And in Major League Soccer, he has been able to beat many players on 1v1s, create goal-scoring opportunities. If he had better teammates or someone that could actually finish, he probably would have a ton of assists on top of a very strong mentality and personality, right? When we saw him get that red card defending his brother, Cavan Sullivan, again, that is something that the golden generation, the Pulisic generation, has been missing. A guy that has some actual fight in them. And they're going to say, what about Tyler Adams? I think a lot of the fighting with Tyler Adams, sometimes it's a little bit performative. While with Cavan Sullivan, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like that's actually him. Another top prospect is the 17-year-old winger from Borussia Dortmund, Mathis Albert. He's been incredible with their U23s, and he made his debut in the Bundesliga last season. He's a very good and talented winger. I think when it comes to pure talent, he might even be number 1 or maybe number 2. He doesn't have the same personality and mentality as Cavan. He's not as aggressive. He's just pure talent. Now, will he get minutes for Borussia Dortmund this season? I don't know, but he's an extremely exciting talent. He actually made his Dortmund debut at a younger age than Christian Pulisic and Gio Reyna. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be better than Christian Pulisic. I'm not even affirming he'll be better than Gio Reyna, which I hope he does become better than Gio Reyna. But Mathis Albert is another very exciting prospect that, from what I've seen with the youth teams and now with some of the friendly games in preseason with Dortmund, pure talent. Another one I have to shout out is probably Noah Kai Banks, the ball-playing defender from Augsburg. Very good on the ball. The problem with Banks is that he's very talented, very good. He could play for Germany, could play for the US. He kind of rejected a World Cup call-up. So I don't know if this guy really wants to play for the United States. So I can't really list him as one of our top prospects, right? Because we don't know if he wants to play for the US men's national team. Now, if he wants to, bring him to us. We'll gladly take him. But I just don't know, right? So I'm not going to really include him in the top 3, even though maybe he would have made it. Now, one that has really caught my attention lately is the central midfielder or central defensive midfielder from the New York Red Bulls that's being coached by Michael Bradley, and his name is Adri Mehmeti. He's an incredible talent. He's a different type of American player, right? Different player profile, something we don't really see. A guy that can actually pull the strings in the midfield. That is not McKennie. That is not Tyler Adams. And honestly, the way he plays a bit deeper. He can do what Tillman does on the ball in terms of like controlling the tempo, speeding up the game, connecting a pass, getting out of tight situations. He's an incredibly intelligent player. Now, he does have to develop a little bit in his athleticism or make up for that with his positioning, which he will over time. He's 17. Adri Mehmeti might be the real deal. This is an incredible talent from the New York Red Bulls, and it's not just how good he is. He's actually a joy to watch. And even talked about in the past, Adri Mehmeti, in an interview, that he tries to replicate his game, and his inspiration, I guess, is like Xavi and Busquets. And obviously, I'm not saying he's that level or he ever will become that level. Those are one of the best midfielders of all time. But I do see the player profile. No, seriously, go watch the New York Red Bulls because Mehmeti is incredible. And the New York Red Bulls actually have another U.S. men's national team prospect, and that is Julian Hall, the center forward that sometimes plays out wide. I think when it comes to player profile with Julian Hall, there's a lot from his game that reminds me of Ricardo Pepi, right? Now, he's still oscillating in MLS. He started the season flaming hot. He's fallen off a bit after the World Cup, but he can do a great role. He can play a great role as a poacher. He reminds me a lot of Pepi. He's very young. He's still developing, playing for the New York Red Bulls. There are European clubs interested in Julian Hall, and he's another very exciting prospect that maybe he'll make it to my top 3 list. Another name I wanted to list was Justin Ellis. Justin Ellis from Orlando City, here where I live in Orlando. Now, Justin Ellis plays as a center forward, second striker. Honestly, he can play as a 10, in my opinion. He can play as a winger. He's able to beat his man, even though he's not the quickest. He's just very technical, very smart. He's very good off the ball. That's one thing I noticed. And his distribution, right? He can pick a pass. He can play make. The thing that lacks in his game so far, from what I've seen with Orlando, is he doesn't have a lot of goals in him. He doesn't get in dangerous positions, or maybe not enough dangerous positions to score goals. The finishing is not bad by any means. He just doesn't have a lot of goals in him so far. He's 19. He's very young. So Justin Ellis, to me, in terms of talent, I think he's more talented than Julian Hall. Will he be better than Julian Hall? That's a different conversation. I also don't even know if Justin Ellis will be a center forward over the long run, because it seems like he's more of a playmaker. He's very calm on the ball. He gets a lot of assists. The only thing that he needs to improve if he wants to play as a center forward, he needs more goals in him, unless you want to become like a Bobby Firmino that used to play for Liverpool. Now, a few others that I have to mention. One is Diego Kochen. He belongs to Barcelona, and he's loaned out to a Danish club and probably going to stay there, right? There is a buy clause. He's probably our highest ceiling goalkeeper right now, Diego Kochen. But from what I've seen early on, definitely not a world-class prospect, right? He could become maybe a top 5 league goalkeeper, which would be better than any option we have. I'll just say this. I'm probably not as high as I was on Diego Kochen 2 years ago, all right, from what I've seen so far in Denmark. We'll see. Time will tell. But I have to mention him because when it comes to goalkeepers, in my opinion, he is the highest ceiling goalkeeper that we have right now, a position that we are in deep, deep crisis, or shall I say deep, deep shit. Now, 2 other prospects I want to mention. One is Peyton Miller from the New England Revolution. We do need a backup left back, and obviously we have like Landon Emanalo, a dual national that belongs to Chelsea, blah, blah, blah. But I want to talk about this guy because he's in MLS. He's American, and he definitely wants to play for the U.S. men's national team. Peyton Miller is a big talent. Now, there's a lot that he has to improve when it comes to his game. But he's been holding his own and actually playing well, standing out at times in MLS. Now, he plays as a winger most of the time, or at least the games I've watched, he plays as a winger. But I see him long-term as maybe a left wing back or even a left back. He can play that position as he progresses, as he develops. That is a talented player to watch out for. The other one is quite fascinating. It's Neil Pierre, the 6'7". This guy is taller than me. He's taller than Tom Cruise. Can you believe it? He's not better looking than me or better looking than Tom Cruise. I'm better looking than Tom Cruise. Then Tom Cruise comes second. Then Neil Pierre is about third, I would say, okay, or fourth. But this guy's 6'7", very athletic, very coordinated. He moves well for his size, and he scores a lot of goals. While I'm recording this, in 4 MLS games, he has 3 goals as a center back. He's an aerial threat. And when he played in the Danish second division, when he was like 17, he also scored like 4 or 5 goals in 10 games. So he scores goals as a center back. In terms of defending, he's looked competent as an 18-year-old in MLS. On the ball, I haven't liked what I've seen so far. He's made some good passes where I'm like, holy crap, this guy has it. But then sometimes under pressure, man, he just crumbles and makes some very poor decisions, some very poor passes. But again, he's 18. He's growing into his body. It's his first season in MLS. I think he's been looking good. And honestly, he's a pretty damn high ceiling prospect. If he can develop the athleticism he has, the IQ that he has in the box to score goals, his off-the-ball movement, everything there, he can be a top center back. There's something there with Neil Pierre. And those are the main prospects that come to mind when I'm talking about the U.S. men's national team. Obviously, when I'm talking about prospects, I'm talking about players that are U20. Right, like a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, I'm not including them. Like, for example, Alex Freeman, I don't consider him a prospect. I'm talking about players that are 19, 18, 17. Cavan Sullivan's case, 16. So now I want to talk about, based on what I've seen, which of these players are the top 3 prospects when it comes to ceiling. And obviously, this is subjective, right? Only time will tell which of these players will become the best of the best. Maybe they'll all flop. Hopefully not. And I don't think that'll happen. But out of these players that I listed, which are the top 3 that I see in terms of ceiling? And I'll tell you right now. One is Cavan Sullivan. That doesn't mean he's number 1. We'll talk about that in a second. The other one is Mehmeti and Mathis Albert. To me, these are the top 3 in terms of talent, raw talent, and the ceiling that they may have. They will likely be the best players we have in the future if they continue to develop and they reach their potential. So for the final section of this video, I want to talk about, out of these 3 players, how would I rank them in terms of their potential and their ceiling? Which one has the highest ceiling? Which one has the lowest ceiling out of these 3 players? And again, we'll only know if I am right 10, 15 years from now. And before I even talk about that, make sure to drop a like in this video. Do it right now. It helps the channel quite a bit. Thank you very much, Timu, also for sponsoring this video. And let me know in the comment section down below, which are your top 3 USMNT prospects right now? So, Cavan Sullivan, Mehmeti, and Mathis Albert. Obviously, when we talk about potential here, most people are going to put Cavan Sullivan as number 1. He's younger. He's an attacker. He's dynamic. He's exciting to watch. He's the type of player that you pay for a ticket to watch this guy, right? He puts on a show, he has been putting on a show in Major League Soccer. Then you have Mathis Albert, that he's obviously not going to be getting that many minutes with Borussia Dortmund early on. I think as the season goes on, maybe he'll get minutes off the bench. Maybe he'll start a game here or there. That can happen. I just don't think it's fair to compare Cavan Sullivan getting minutes for a struggling Philadelphia Union, that there's not that much pressure this season. They're going to be playing the kids like they're playing Neil Pierre, Cavan Sullivan, Frankie Westfield. So in that sense, talking about Cavan having more minutes than Mathis Albert, it just doesn't cut it for me, right? Because I don't know if Cavan would be getting that many minutes for Borussia Dortmund, right? Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. I think he would not. I think he would be in a similar situation to Mathis Albert. Now, that's not me saying that Mathis Albert is a better player than Cavan or he would be doing better than Cavan in MLS. Because what Cavan's doing in MLS at age 16, or he's turning 17 right now in September, if I'm not mistaken, it is quite remarkable, right? Now, the other one is Adri Mehmeti, because he's actually been looking good in MLS all season long. But he plays a different position. Right? He's very calm, composed on the ball, can connect the pass, doesn't crumble under pressure. When it comes to pure talent in position, I actually think Adri Mehmeti is number one when it comes to that. That doesn't mean he's the highest ceiling. My point here is we're always going to overhype or hype more the forwards, which is normal. This game is about scoring goals. Adri Mehmeti is not the type of guy that will give you goals, right? He's not a goal scorer. Will he score occasionally? Sure. I don't think he scored a goal in MLS this season. Or has he scored? I think he has, but he has gotten an assist, right? Recently, he put a beautiful pass to Forsberg. That was a goal for the New York Red Bulls. Now, when it comes to projecting the ceiling of these players, it's very tough, right? It's very, very tough. Like a few months ago, I would say, to me, it was Mathis Albert. But then watching Cavan Sullivan at a professional level, I think him and Mathis Albert, Cavan and Mathis Albert, they're very similar when it comes to ceiling. I think Mathis Albert is a bit more talented and a bit better in the final third than Cavan Sullivan. I think that's something that's lacking, that final ball. That's why Cavan's not getting as many goals and assists. Sure, assists, you're going to say better teammates, he would get more assists. Sure, but he's still not doing the best when it comes to passing in the final third, right? That last ball in finishing. He's not scoring goals. He's taking shots, he's just not scoring as many goals. Mathis Albert, to me, is a little bit more goal dangerous and more assist dangerous. He's a bit more calm on the ball. Cavan Sullivan sometimes is a little bit hectic, but he's much more dynamic. Now, when it comes to mentality here, to me, Cavan's number one. I haven't seen an American like this in a long time. An American that has that fight in him, doesn't get intimidated regardless of who he's playing, and he goes at the opponent regardless of what's happening in the game. The mentality of Cavan Sullivan is quite remarkable. Something that the current generation, the Pulisic generation, is 100% missing. That, to me, plays a big role over the long run. But right now, if I were to project the number one prospect that we have in terms of ceiling, because of what I've seen with the eye test, right, on the ball, how he plays, how composed and how calm he is, and the things that he has to improve will just come with time. To me, the highest ceiling prospect that we have is Adri Mehmeti. Yeah, I know this may be a surprise to many, and usually I rate forwards higher, but I've been impressed more and more each game with this guy. And he's playing under Michael Bradley. That will most certainly help him, right? It's a position that Michael Bradley knows how to perform, knows what has to be done for this player to develop. And very soon he's going to be in Europe as well, just like Cavan Sullivan and Mathis Albert is already there. So to me, the number one when it comes to ceiling is Adri Mehmeti. Okay, watch his games, eye test. I'm not talking about stats. Ignore that for a second. These are young players. They're going to oscillate. The stats may be underinflated in some cases, like Cavan Sullivan could have had many more assists. To me, Adri Mehmeti is the highest ceiling prospect that we have right now. Now, my opinion could change in a year or two as these players develop, but right now it's Adri Mehmeti. Number two, based on what I've seen, it's tied between Cavan and Mathis Albert. I think Mathis Albert may have a little bit more talent than Cavan Sullivan, but Cavan Sullivan, the mentality and the way he plays, the way he's playing right now, I cannot put him below Mathis Albert. So again, I just wanted to yap today based on what I've seen. I can maybe update this in the future if you'd like, because again, projecting a player's ceiling, it changes as the player develops, right? But right now, based on what I've seen this year, I have Adri Mehmeti as the highest ceiling, and then number two, Mathis Albert and Cavan Sullivan, okay, as the highest prospects that we have. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like in the video right now, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And remember, you can hate on me all you want. All of this is subjective, and we're projecting into the future. It'll be fun to look back at this video like 5 years from now when we have much more data on these players and they're in their 20s. But as of now, that's my opinion. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and have a great day.